Alright kids, the best thing to easily coat a window or windshield on your automobile is going to be a high gloss liquid sealant. Today I'm using a basic, readily available, this is one of the cheapest ones I could find in my collection of paint sealants and synthetic sealants. This is not a wax, keep in mind, this is not a Carnauba paste wax. This is a liquid synthetic man-made paint sealant. This is from Germany. It's going to go best on, any higher class car, but particularly a black. You can use it on any color, but the black cars are going to look the best with it. And you can do the whole car. You can do the front headlights, you can do the wheels with this. You can do essentially anything you want to do. What I'm doing right now is the windows. I have just taken a pneumatic polisher. Let's see, I got my compressor out over here. We got our pneumatic polisher right here. So I have taken a pneumatic polisher to my windows, all of them, every one of them, front, back, side, and polished it with a pneumatic polisher using an Ingersoll Rand 2-speed pneumatic polisher. I've polished all windows completely. I removed any markings that the windshield wipers have made on the windshield. I've made this piece of glass extremely clean and gotten out little abrasions, little scratches in it and whatnot, and all of the windows. Now, I want to walk around here and see the car's windows real quick. As you can see, I still got some wiping off to do with the polish, but yeah, I basically made sure to go in the direction of the wind, keep the pad flat against the window as I've done this, gone left and right, and evenly polished all of the windows on this automobile. The next thing I'm going to do is very important, especially for winterizing the automobile. I am going to essentially seal the windows. Now, a lot of people commonly like to use Rain-X. Rain-X is a great product, I'm not knocking it. However, Rain-X doesn't seem to really last as long. You get some Rain-X on there, you wipe it on, you apply it, you buff it off, dry it, and once it rains, the windshield wiper goes over the windshield a couple of times. That Rain-X is pretty much gone. It's useless then. The next thing that professional auto bodies and auto detailing shops are going to use is called aquapel. Aquapel, I've got one around here somewhere. But they come in these white little applicator pads that you kind of crack open and then rub up and down on the windshield specifically. Now that's great too, however, same thing. That does cause the water to beat up and stuff and things to not really stick to the windshield as much, but it doesn't really last as long. A synthetic paint sealant is going to be your best option or bet when it comes to lasting, specifically over the winter. That's what we're attempting to do now, guys. We're attempting to polish every window on the car. Obviously, we've gone through and done a Windex coating and wiped down through all the windows and whatnot, but the next step is protecting the windows, and a synthetic paint sealant is going to do the best at that. It's going to last for almost years, at least a year, and it's going to definitely last us all winter long. We won't need to coat the windows with anything else all winter long, with salt, snow, debris, anything. Just going to take a quick wipe down and that sealant will not come off. So I'm going to, for you, apply this auto detailing synthetic paint sealant to all windows for you, and we're going to have a chance to see how good this stuff really works. Now, to get an idea of how this stuff really works, I've just put it on my microfiber towel right here, and as you can see, it moves around on the towel without even getting the towel wet. So that's how important this stuff is in protecting the windows. As you can see here, it doesn't even get the actual microfiber wet. It's so unique. So I'm just going to take a little bit, I'm going to apply it to the windshield here. I'm going to wipe in the direction that the wind would go, up and down. And we're going to buff it off after it cures and dries to the window a little bit, and then we're going to be protected for months to come, guys. Any water, any snow that builds up on this windshield is going to completely bead right off, and if it's dirt or anything that's sticking to the windshield, well, just take an easy microfiber wipe, either with a detailing spray, some Windex or window cleaner, whether it be spray or foam type stuff. This is going to work perfectly. And keep in mind too, in my next video I will be actually polishing down the entire car, taking care of any rust spots, any dents, any scratches. We'll go ahead and wash it all up, polish it up with several different classes of polish, starting with a compound, a rubbing compound, moving up to a polish, then a little bit finer polish, then we're going to move to a finishing glaze, and then we're going to actually take a yellow jeweling pad and go over the entire car, making it look better than new actually. And then our final step, which is take the synthetic paint sealant and apply it to the whole vehicle. Now, as you can see, this has already started to kind of cure into the glass already, kind of rub itself in and attach to the surface of it permanently now. Well, the way you could get this off is by using a dish soap or dish detergent. That pretty much takes any Carnauba wax or synthetic paint sealant off. So we're looking pretty good, we're looking pretty shiny. I'm going to go ahead and apply this to all the other windows. I'm going to wait a little bit, probably about 15 minutes, then I'm going to go ahead and buff it all off with a different towel, mind you. Alright, looking good, guys. Alright, taking a step back, what you basically want the windows to look like is this. You want to basically cover it in a fine film or coat. Wipe it on, like I said, up and down with the direction of the wind, and get it to cure or dry to the paint. Or, I'm sorry, not paint, in this case, glass. We're going to be doing the paint next. But it's very, very, very important to have the surface completely clean as you can possibly physically get it, before you apply any sealant or protectant against the surface like this. Looks like we've got every surface just about perfectly covered here. Look at the back window. The back window is really going to come and play as well as the windshield the most. Those are going to really be the most effective ones that you're going to want to coat. Alright guys, it's pretty much coated. As you can see, every window perfectly coated. Like I said, wait a little bit, probably about 10-15 minutes for that sealant to cure or dry to the surface here like this. And if you want to do any mirrors, any lights on the on the car, headlights I recommend. I also recommend doing this to wheels, but I would say that I would have to polish my rims first. So we'd have to actually wash the wheel completely, and then it would take a polish. I would take a mag or aluminum polish or metal polish to these wheels, probably with a pneumatic polisher, and then I would go ahead and seal them like such. Just doing the same thing I did, just using the glossy now and sealing the entire car. We're going to be sealing both the back and front lights of the vehicle, mirrors, the entire exterior of the vehicle, but it's going to have to be completely washed and polished down before we do that. Now this is basically the same thing as a Carnauba Paste Wax, however man-made, and it's much more effective. The difference really quick between a Carnauba Paste Wax is it has a Brazilian bean in it called Carnauba. And it's not necessarily made by man because it's grown by the earth naturally. So a Brazilian car wax containing Carnauba is not natural. It's grown by the earth. I'm sorry, it is natural. It's not man-made. A synthetic paint sealant like I'm using here, however, is man-made. It's not natural. The difference between the two is the Brazilian Carnauba car wax paste specifically. There are some liquid sprays and whatnot. I've got a Pinnacle brand and a Wolfgang brand. They are a little bit more effective at getting that real nice shine, that glossy surface to it, but not very long. The synthetic paint sealant doesn't usually look better than the Carnauba wax, looking, two panels. If you were to do two panels or one section of a panel and one with Carnauba, the other with synthetic paint sealant, the Carnauba one would generally look better right when you're done. The synthetic one would look decent, pretty good, however, it's going to last 10 times longer than the Carnauba one. Carnauba one shines great, looks great, but in my opinion, the synthetic paint sealants, guys, actually look better than the Carnauba ones, and they're going to last 10 times longer. So that's a huge debate among automotive detailers and whatnot and body shops across the country, which to use, Carnauba or synthetic sealant. However, I choose the best of both worlds. Once I polish a vehicle, the first thing I'm going to do is actually apply a paint sealant to it, probably about 3 coats to the entire vehicle, up and down, let it cure, wait on there, sometimes 24 hours to allow it to cure, and then buff it all off. But the next thing I'll do then, take that paste wax and start applying that Carnauba Brazilian natural paint wax. Paste wax. That's the best way to get the best of both worlds, folks, is to do both and apply both. I know it's time consuming, it takes a little bit of time, but it does work out in the end to be the best possible finish, and it really makes this black car shine and look wet, look like a glossy finish. I've got kind of a comparison between a panel here that was given a synthetic paint sealant and then the hood was not. So you can see as to kind of how it affects the vehicle. And those paint sealants can be applied anywhere: rubber, plastic, metal, aluminum, chrome, anywhere, guys. Everywhere around the vehicle. So it is really best to apply those synthetic sealants. And keep in mind, this is a 2001 vehicle with well over 100,000 miles on it, and it looks this good. That's because I've taken care of it. I've polished it a few times. Spent 3-4 days polishing it and waxing it at a time, keeping it parked in between those times, because you don't want to take a vehicle out and drive it after you've polished it and then start to contaminate the surfaces and whatnot. So looks like we're almost done here. This is almost cured the surface. It's going to have a kind of a foamy haze look to it. I'm going to kind of a dry swiping, marking, smearing kind of look to it, but it's going to dry up a little bit like that haze, and then you're going to want to buff it off with a different towel than what you're used to apply it with. So we're almost done here, folks. I'm going to buff it off and show you how it looks. Now, the reason or the way, the method you'll know that this is dry and complete in time to start buffing is it's going to do this. It's going to be dry to the touch kind of on there, and you're going to want to start to go like this and get it all off like that. If it's still wet, probably needs a little bit more time in curing. So it's going to start to look like that, but it will really, really protect and make this windshield look wet, glossy, very, very clean, but best of all, most of all, protect it for a long time. So I missed a little spot there, but I'm just going to start in one corner of the glass essentially, and I'm going to wipe up and down, making sure to get all of my sealant off. The better you buff this, the better it's going to look. So there you have it, guys. I'm going to continue wiping here, but I'm going to give you a final look at our finished product or result. And let me know what you think. If you're using another synthetic sealant or another type of deal, maybe you're using aquapel and you've got no problem with that, that's fine, let me know. But this is really going to make the windshield wipers glide across the windshield a lot easier. It's going to make snow, rain, anything beat up and not stick to the windshield and then create marks. So yeah, I really like using it. I've had good luck with this synthetic paint sealant before. So, all right, we got a good part of the windshield there. It's really going to take folding the microfiber cloth over once again and really buffing down. You can apply some Windex to it, but you're best off just wiping it dry with the microfiber. All right. Now the easiest way for me to show you is to actually do the back window here, because that's kind of the most curved surface. That's going to give you the best illustration as to how this has dried and is going to look when you start wiping it off. Alrighty, guys. Looks like we're getting there. It is time consuming and it will take you a while to do, especially if you're doing the entire car like I'm going to be doing here. But you really want to make sure the surface is clean before you even think about doing this, because it's going to lock any contaminants or dirt on the surface in there for a long time. Alrighty, looks like we're just about complete here. And it's kind of rubbing it around a little bit more, making sure that it's all over, but it will kind of disappear, those hazy spots. And then we're left with a perfectly, you kind of see the microfiber kind of just rolls where it used to stick to the window. So looks like we're doing good. You can see the difference kind of here. That glass is looking good, guys. It's looking perfect. And then there's a window with it still on, off. Back up, get a better look at it real quick in the light, sort of. And then this right side I haven't done yet, so as you can see, a little different, and you won't see any of this haze if you've buffed it off correctly. Alrighty, folks, thanks for watching. That's my video on the glass, protecting it, cleaning it, and whatnot. I'll have a ton more videos to come. Check back, and I'll be back. Thanks, guys. Give a thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe.